In 1962, 14-year-old Kerry Ryman sneaked onto the floor just after Wilt Chamberlain's legendary 100-point game with one thing on his mind. How can I get that ball? 14 years old. He's got it 38 years later. Kerry?
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
Fair. How are you?
Fair, because people want you to give them the ball, they want to bid on the ball, or they want to find out how you got the ball and how you've kept it for 38 years.
This ball is going to get auctioned off.
The night he scored the 100 points, you went out onto the court and you got the ball, right?
Exactly.
Did Wilt Chamberlain ever ask for the ball?
Never. We offered, first of all, the night that I took the ball, when I got home, the first thing my mother said would, it's going back. My parents called the Philadelphia Warriors and offered that ball back. Chamberlain didn't want any part of it.
Right now, I don't even care about the story anymore. Right now, you seem so depressed and so down that I don't understand why you're feeling this way. It just seems like a nice little thing. When you're 14, you were a big fan. You wanted the ball. You got the ball 38 years later. It sounds like it's coming back to haunt you, for God's sake.
Well, wouldn't it you?
What do you mean, wouldn't I what?
Wouldn't it haunt you?
Why would it haunt me?
Well, because it was wrong.
Well, wait a minute. You could have figured that out 38 years ago.
When you're a kid like that, you don't.
Okay, how about 28 years ago?
That all happened.
Okay, so when you thought
Sixers called me when they retired Chamberlain's number.
Then why didn't you give him the ball back when you?
They called. They asked me if I would be willing to come down to the Spectrum and give the ball back, and they retired his number. I said yes.
Okay.
Chamberlain said no.
Why would you say no?
Put yourself in his position.
All right.
At 62.
Got it.
Okay. And some kid came out there and ripped that ball off.
Did you rip it right out of his hands?
Well, he bounced. The referee got the ball after he scored 100 points and threw it to him.
Right.
I was there. I went out. I shook his hand. And he bounced the ball on the floor, and
you grabbed it.
I took it.
Ah, that's great.
This is the biggest piece of basketball sports memorabilia on the face of the earth.
I'd like you to speak to Joe Rucklick. By the way, Joe Rucklick is a sports reporter for the Chicago Defender and a former teammate of Wilt Chamberlain's. He played in that game, as a matter of fact. Joe, talk to Kerry.
Kerry, on the basis of what I've heard, this is a hoax. And I challenge you to a bet, my house against your house, to be determined by a polygraph test to settle this hoax.
I'd have no problems with that.
You name the day.
No problem.
Secondly,
Joe, tell him why you believe that. We just don't want to just say that he's a liar or has the fake ball, because we have to believe what you're saying also, Joe. You played with Wilt Chamberlain. You played in that game. Did you remember seeing a young boy, Kerry Ryman, at 14 at that time, come out on the court?
I remember it vividly. I've been talking about that game for 38 years because I got the assist on the 100-point basket. But more important than that, I know the man or woman who owns the ball and has possession of it, and who has a document written by Wilt that authenticates it. So that ought to settle it once and for all.
The ball that Wilt scored 100 points with, seconds after he scored that 100th point, I was out there on the floor and I shook his hand. And the referee threw the ball to Wilt, and Wilt bounced that ball on the floor, and I took that ball. I had no intentions of taking that ball. It just happened. Now, I'm up the steps and out the door, and I've got security people chasing me all the way to where I live. Where did that ball come from?
Wilt made the basket. I got the assist. A few fans came down to congratulate him. I stood there with my elbow on the table, watching the referee hold the ball until the game resumed. There's no way a thief could have gotten away with that ball. No way.
I don't want to be recognized for a thief. It just happened.
Well, wait a second. Wait a second.
Kid.
Who owns that ball? Hold it. This is a hoax. Stop this over Chamberlain's grave, will you?
Hey, listen to me, Kerry. You hear what he's saying to you? You got a hoax going here, is what he's saying to you, and he's saying to you, just go on. He's offering his home for you. This is the man that got the assist on the 100 points. This is Joe Rucklick. He was there. He's saying you're full of it. You're saying you're not.
There's too many people that saw it happen.
Name them.
It's already been named. It's already
Kerry, hey, listen, man. This is a hoax, and you're standing over Chamberlain's grave. Cut it out.
It's not a hoax. And listen, I think our conversation now is about ended.
Maloney, you have to prove that what you're peddling is authentic, and you can't do it. I'm offering a polygraph test.
Kerry, you still there? Kerry hung up too.
Yeah, well, I don't have to prove a negative. I know the truth. Polygraphs are virtually infallible.
Well, I tried to help you there.
You've got a hell of a program and a hell of a show. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
You're listening to Jonathan Brandmeier.